Adria Race.
Right, man, have a good one.
Viel Glück. Und schaut uns am Rennen ein bisschen auf den Exit. Jetzt sind noch zwei Geraden.
Dann ein herzliches Willkommen zum zweiten Rennwochenende in der ADAC Formel 4. Wir sind auf dem Hockenheim-Ring zum vierten Lauf der Saison in der Highspeed-Schule, in dieser Nachwuchsschule, wo auch prominente Namen an diesem Wochenende wieder mit dabei sind. Unter anderem natürlich David Schumacher, der Sohn von Ralf Schumacher, und Enzo Fittipaldi. Das ist der Enkel der Formel-1-Legende Emerson Fittipaldi. Und dazu gesellt sich an diesem Wochenende noch ein dritter prominenter Name, die die Motorsportfans da draußen sicher kennen, nämlich lautet auf den Nachnamen Dune. Mick Dune heißt der Papa, fünffacher Champion in der 500 Kubik-Klasse auf zwei Rädern, und sein Sohn Jack Dune geht hier an diesem Wochenende auch in der ADAC Formel 4 an den Start. Wir haben ein längeres Interview mit ihm geführt, das können Sie sehen auf facebook.com/Sport1Motorsport. Da hat er uns auch verraten, dass er eigentlich lieber gesehen hätte, wenn der Sohnemann zum Basketball gegangen wäre. Einfach mal reinklicken, sehr unterhaltsam. Sportlich gesehen ist aber ein anderer der Dominator, nämlich heute auch der Pole-Setter Liren Zendeli. Er hat 2 Rennen bereits gewonnen auf dem Ring in Oschersleben, die beiden Auftaktrennen. Er ist auch der Gesamtführende mit 50 Punkten, mit 5 Punkten Vorsprung auf Enzo Fittipaldi. Ob er auch wieder am Ende des Rennens da oben feiern kann, hier auf dem Hockenheimring, das weiß Ihr Kommentator. Das weiß Patrick Simon. Viel Spaß!
Nochmal sein, Bild und auch hier mit dem ungeklickten und um dann Scheitelpunkt tief diese leichte Überhöhung zu nützen. Doppelrechts auf Start und Ziel zurück. Sieht man schön hier am Beispiel von Lawson, wie man da mit dem Lenkrad am Fighten, am Kämpfen ist, um den Boliden da mit bis zu 2G hier durch die Kurve zu ziehen. Starkes Ding. Zendeli kann sich ein bisschen absetzen. 0,8 jetzt ein Vorsprung vor Lawson, vor Caldwell. Und da sehen wir in der Wiederholung die zwei Us-Racing-Piloten, die sich da mächtig duelliert haben. Warum sich bei Wieshofer da der Frontflügel verabschiedet hat. Ah ja, da sehen wir es. Das ist die Situation gewesen. Das Kreuzen des Fahrzeuges oder hinter dem Fahrzeug von Zendeli hat dazu geführt, dass dieses Bild sein Rennen vorzeitig beendet. Möglicherweise wechselt man den Frontflügel, aber ihn auf jeden Fall mal außerhalb der Punkteränge werfen wird. Bis Platz 10 gibt es Punkte, wie bei den ganz großen Formel-1-Rennern mit 25 Punkten belohnt. Und die kriegt heute nicht Mick Wieshofer, oder Tobi Schimon?
Nee, die kriegt Mikko Wieshofer leider heute nicht. Sein Frontflügel wird jetzt zwar gerade gewechselt, aber ich glaube, rausgehen wirst du heute nicht mehr. Mick, du hast den Helm auch schon ausgezogen. Was ist passiert draußen auf der Rennstrecke?
Ja, ich bin für die Führung gegangen und dann waren auf einmal zu viele Autos auf einem Fleck, glaube ich. Dann sind wir zur Mercedes-Kurve gekommen. Da hat sich dann mein Teamkollege neben mich gesetzt. Currently running in P4, some verzögern können und
7/10 behind
schade, dass sowas im Team passiert, oder?
Liam Zendelli car and Liam Lawson, they're both
beide Fahrer vorne
really now
sind.
getting into their stride and
Man will natürlich
making
gewinnen
a
und dann
sizable
probiert man es halt
margin
einmal.
between themselves. And
Es war vielleicht nicht die glückste Idee.
you can see
Drücken wir die
it's
Daumen, das Auto scheint ja wieder fit werden zu werden.
closest is the four-way fight for P4 with Fittipaldi and Schumacher, Vesti and Charles Wirtz. And Schumacher with another impressive drive. You can see the order on screen. Andreas Essner is up to P9 with Lorandi in P10. Then it's Beckhauser, who we saw with that overtake just a few moments ago, getting past the Lucas Aleco Roy car. So the number 44 car of Liam Zendelli leading the race around the Parabolica now, heading up towards the hairpin. Here's a replay of the start proper. The one that bogged down just a little bit at the start for my money was Liam Lawson. Didn't get away quite as quickly as those around him. And just while we're looking at the replay of that start, just to let you know that the number 26 car, Leon Koffler, that we saw involved in a skirmish earlier, is going to be reported to the stewards of the meeting for causing a collision. Out of the race now in the pit lane. But that has been noted and is being reported to the stewards, so we'll have to face the music there. 17 minutes or thereabouts of the race remaining for this ADAC Formula 4 opening race here at Hockenheim of 3, which is actually the second round of the championship this year. And what a success story it has been as we look at the second place driver, Lawson. There is Oliver Caldwell then. And there is Schumacher then chasing Fittipaldi down as they break the beam on the timing line once again. Liam Zendelli has increased his margin to 1.8. So further 1.2 back from Lawson to Caldwell in P3, who is just 6/10 ahead of Fittipaldi. So Fittipaldi is perhaps potentially the closest here. Then you have Schumacher and Frederick Vesti and Charles Wirtz and Jack Doohan. And Andreas Essner in P9 with Lorandi P10. So stretching his legs nicely now. Liam Zendelli untroubled, just able to focus and concentrate. But a fight going on for P5 here as Frederick Vesti all over the back of David Schumacher, which allows Charles Wirtz to get a little bit closer as well. Off the back of the hairpin, Schumacher, though, remains in that P5 position as we track the cars heading down towards the next turn, which is turn number 7, which is fast and sweeping. Then they head into the Mercedes arena. So for now, Schumacher got it all under control, but he is coming under pressure from Frederick Vesti in the number 2 cars. You can see Vesti is just looking very, very lively behind Schumacher. The margin looks down a couple of tenths between the two of them into the Sachs curve. We stick with this battle. Frederick Vesti in this position where he's hunting David Schumacher, but doesn't want to leave himself vulnerable to the number 21 car of Charles Wirtz. Around the Sud curve they come. Liam Zendelli has crossed the line, increased by another 4/10 his margin. It's now 2.2 seconds. So Zendelli from Lawson, Oliver Caldwell, then it's Fittipaldi, Schumacher, Vesti, Wirtz, and Jack Doohan is running in P8. Schumacher, for the moment, has seen off the charge from Frederick Vesti. Vesti falls back just a little bit to cool things down, and then he will have another go. Car number 81 is being warned about track limits, and that's Sebastian Essner. Andreas Essner currently, as you heard me say, is running in P9. Sebastian Essner down in P12 at the moment. So Lirim Zentelli, race leader. And once again, from the last lap, is significantly quicker than Lawson in P2. So Lirim Zentelli with it all completely and totally under control. Just nailing every turn, putting it through the turn perfectly, and just very, very quickly as well, which means he's increasing by tenths that margin with every lap completed and put in the book. Right now, Frederik Vesti lines up Schumacher again. This is the fight for P5. The number 2 car of Frederik Vesti, who's had a P6, a P2 and a P4 in the 3 races ahead of coming here to Hockenheim. Back into the car, just stepping out there around the Sud curve, and that's cost him some valuable time because he's nothing like as close to Schumacher as he was. Really has cost him dearly. And up the inside there goes the number 22 car of Lucas Aleko-Roy on the car of Ida Cohen, and that's just a replay of how that complete rear wing assembly came off the car. Some super slow-mos of some of those moments from earlier in the race. And there, that's the complete Van Amersfoort Racing rear wing component. So now, as you can see, the all-pink car is David Schumacher, then it's Frederik Vesti and Charles Weerts, who are now much closer together. So all of a sudden, Vesti has gone away from attacking and having to concentrate on and think about defending. So Lucas Aleko-Roy then, the Van Amersfoort Racing driver, minus a rear wing, is into the pit lane. So we've lost Lucas Aleko, we've lost Mick Wieshofer, we've lost the number 4 car of Niklas Kruten. We've also lost Ida Cohen and the number 5 car of Gianluca Petikov as well. It's actually the Leon Koffler car rather than Ida Cohen that we've lost, of course. Race leader then, heading towards the line once again. Now, has kind of reached the plateau, really, where he's not increasing the margin between himself and Lawson. It's now at 2.2 and has been for a couple of laps. So Lirim Zentelli with another 11.5 minutes to maintain his prowess around the Hockenheim circuit and keep everything completely under control, heading towards the what would be potentially his 3rd win of the season thus far. Now, once again, you can see there the number 27 car of David Schumacher, who's just again beginning to fall into the clutches of Frederik Vesti. In fairness, Vesti had dropped back. So you can see him there using the opposite lock to control the sliding rear end of his car. Once again, he is getting closer to David Schumacher in that fight for P5. Both of them having left Charles Weerts behind somewhat. In the meantime, Lawson, then Caldwell, then Fittipaldi, occupying the P2, 3 and 4 places. There is Frederik Vesti then, who I was just talking about in terms of chasing down that David Schumacher car ahead. Had a couple of laps where he was very, very close indeed, and now has dropped back a little bit. And initially I thought maybe having dropped back just to allow everything to cool off before having another attempt. And certainly he has got just a couple of 100ths closer to David Schumacher, but equally Schumacher is just very, very quietly getting a little bit closer to Fittipaldi. Was quicker than Fittipaldi in the last lap. That's for sure. A 1:42.322 from Fittipaldi and a 1:42.289 from Schumacher. So Schumacher still with pace, clearly. Just a little bit of a lock-up there. Now, that's the second of the Essner cars, the one that's driven by Sebastian Essner. And there, the Edo Cohen car. So through the hairpin the cars go. None of them really close enough to be able to use the hairpin as that potential overtake. Often the overtake not coming necessarily at the hairpin, but getting a good slingshot off the back of the very slow corner, which is the hairpin, sometimes can propel you into a overtake potential through the fast sweeping turn 7 heading into the Mercedes arena at turn 8. So back to our race leader, Liram Zendelli. It's been 2.2 seconds, the margin between himself and Lawson, the consistent pace that these drivers are maintaining. The number 74 car of Fittipaldi, Enzo Fittipaldi then. Enzo having taken a couple of podiums from the opening round at Oschersleben, a P3 and a P2 in the last 2 races. Just off the podium with P4 in the first race of the weekend. And at the moment he's in that P4 position now, but he's going to have to start defending because Schumacher with a 1:42.047 was a full 4/10 quicker than Fittipaldi last time around. Time is running out now. We've got 8 minutes left on the clock. And Zendelli has also lost a couple of tenths in comparison to Lawson, who is in P2. The number 30 car of Liam Lawson from Van Amersfoort Racing might try a charge towards the end of this race. The gap is just too much, isn't it? For 7 3/4 seconds, I would have thought that Zendelli is just playing and got it all under control. But now, the number 27 car of David Schumacher with Fittipaldi, those places having been changed around, because there you can see the number 27 car is ahead of the number 74 car of Fittipaldi. Now, we didn't see that overtake, so hopefully we will get a replay of that. There is the number 21 car of Charles Wirtz. So Schumacher then did say he was on a bit of a charge. Just under 7 minutes remaining, and there the Fittipaldi car. And then it will be Frederick Vesti. So as they head around the Sudkurva, Liram Zendelli leading, confirmation. Liam Lawson P2, then it's Oliver Caldwell, then it is David Schumacher, having got past that Fittipaldi car, then it's Vesti and Wirtz and Doohan. So into turn number 1, the cars run. Rest of the order ticking away on screen for you. And Fittipaldi is going to be under the clutches potentially of Frederick Vesti as well. So David Schumacher up to P4. And here comes Frederick Vesti. He's going to have a go on the Fittipaldi car. So Fittipaldi to the inside to defend the inside line. And now Vesti will try and get underneath, but isn't able to do so. You can see the heavy defending that's going on by the number 74 car of Fittipaldi. As Vesti is all over the back of Fittipaldi now. The outside doesn't become the inside for the next turn. But what he will do, Frederick Vesti will try and get underneath the number 74 car. But in fairness to Enzo Fittipaldi, some stoic defence going on here as he tries to protect that P5 position that he's in. Frederick Vesti, though, has clearly got the pace and is all over the number 74 car. The Prema Par-Team car. Grazia Troncon controlling the team in Formula 4. So there's the number 2 car of Frederick Vesti. Only been on the podium once for a P2 in the season thus far. Looks like he's going to be denied a podium now as well, because he's down there in P5, but he is merely 3/10 behind the car of Fittipaldi. So this was how he did it then, around the parabolica. Thanks for getting this replay in here. Oh, that was a clean sweep, wasn't it? A very, very good overtake from David Schumacher then around the Fittipaldi car. Very clean, tidy, and very decent overtake. As I say, around the parabolica. Clearly had the confidence in the car that it was going to provide the grip that he needed to make that happen, and make it happen he did. So that battle continuing between Fittipaldi and Vesti. We're tracking the Schumacher car then. Next in his target sights is Oliver Caldwell, but with only 3 3/4 minutes left, it's going to be potentially a big ask for him to get on terms. It's going to be a big ask for Fittipaldi to continue to defend this P5 position against Frederick Vesti. And of course, as these two are fighting, so the car of Charles Weerts is getting ever closer. So they're the number 2 car of Frederick Vesti from Van Amersfoort Racing. Having a long conversation with Rob Neisink from Van Amersfoort Racing about Frederick Vesti at the last round at Oschersleben. He did in the middle race show the promise that we felt he was capable of. Now can he, in the final 3 minutes of this race, find a way past Enzo Fittipaldi? At the moment, Fittipaldi's defence is working and he hasn't been able to find a way past. Charles Weerts, who's running in P7, of course, is from the same Van Amersfoort team. Now, certainly no team orders between the drivers, but two stable mates together there, if you like. Parabolica now for Frederick Vesti and also for Enzo Fittipaldi, who's just perhaps missing 1/10 or 2 of performance in comparison to the Frederick Vesti car. But, of course, what Vesti has got to do is be on terms with the car and to try and find a way past, which thus far he's been unable to do so. Enzo will put the car exactly where he needs to, or does he? Because Vesti will get... No, he doesn't quite get close enough to be right alongside, but he's certainly on the gearbox of the number 74 car. It will take to the inside now, but that becomes the outside for the next turn. So with stoic defence from Fittipaldi, but he locks up. That could be a little error that plays into the hands of Frederick Vesti, but he wasn't really in a position to take huge advantage of that, sadly. And now, as you can see, the 21 car of Charles Weerts, and he's being very wise here and just letting these two fight. By virtue of the fact that they are fighting, it's allowed him to get closer to the back of Frederick Vesti. So around the Sachs turn now, and heading in towards turns 13, 14 and 15 with just one more turn, the Sudkurve, to do before the timing line. And, well, to be fair, Fittipaldi can breathe again, can't he? He's got another good entrance into turn 1. And all of a sudden, you see, Frederick Vesti is having to think very hard about attacking ahead, but also... in terms of defending against Charles Weerts, who's right behind him. Charles Weerts is running in P7. Frederick Vesti is P6. And ahead of them both, of course, is Enzo Fittipaldi, who's clinging on for dear life to this position that he has currently. So Parabolica once again heading up towards the hairpin. Frederick Vesti once again reels in. We are on the final lap. It's been declared the final lap. So it's now or never for Vesti. He tries to go all the way around the outside. That allows that allows Charles Weerts to get ever closer. Oliver Caldwell, of course, is running in P3 and will be heading, hopefully, for a podium. Be the second podium for Caldwell, having taken the win in the final race at Oschersleben in the opening round. So can Enzo Fittipaldi hold on to this P5 position and deny Frederick Vesti and also Charles Weerts? There is David Schumacher with incredible pace. He's not been able to get onto the back of Oliver Caldwell in the time available, and it's not surprising. And he's had a fantastic race. It's been a really good race from David Schumacher. That overtake around the Parabolica was a thing of beauty, that's for sure. So heading to take another win. Here comes Lirim Zendelli then, who opens his book here at Hockenheim with a win from Liam Lawson, P2. Oliver Caldwell takes a fine podium in P3. And P4 will go the way of David Schumacher. Before we see Enzo Fittipaldi, who holds on for P5, then it's Vesti Wirtz, Jack Doohan in P8. It should be Andreas Essner in the all-yellow car that will take P9. Sure enough, he rounds the final turn. So another very, very strong race from ADAC Formula 4 here at Hockenheim. With, as always, drama, but some very, very good overtakes as well. So really, really enjoyable race to watch. Liram Zendelli takes another win. So that is the third win for Liram Zendelli in the season so far. A fine drive. Schumacher, of course, will be on the podium in any event, having taken P4 because he'll be the best of the rookies. Super slow-mo of the checkered flag once again. P5 then, and Enzo Fittipaldi did hold on for that. Did wonder whether Frederick Vesti was going to get him in the end, but despite strong efforts from Vesti and also from Charles Wirtz, who finished in P7. Sure enough, Fittipaldi was able to soak up the pressure. Good showing from the number 33 car as well of Jack Doohan finishing in P8. So Liram Zendelli then. Really put a foot wrong for the whole race. There, confirmation of the result then. Liram Zendelli from Liam Lawson. Oliver Caldwell, then it was David Schumacher, Enzo Fittipaldi, Frederick Vesti, Charles Wirtz, Jack Doohan, Andreas Essner and Tom Beckhauser completing the top 10. P11 went to Leonardo Lorandi. P12 was Sebastian Essner. Bear in mind he will be invited up to the stewards as well. For that reason we mentioned earlier, it was just going back on my screen here, trying to find the message. So there, Liram Zendelli out of the car. So Tobias Scheiman down there to ready to interview Liram Zendelli. So car drivers heading off for their media attention, and then we'll be heading off to the podium as well. Crash helmet off. Maestro.
Ja, Liram Zendelli steht neben uns.
Park Ferme
Dritter Sieg im 4. Rennen. Kann die Saison besser anfangen?
Ja, ist eigentlich schon ganz gut
ausgegangen.
So, kann die besser anfangen? Ich glaube nicht. Bis auf den Crash in Oschersleben ist alles einfach mega gelaufen.
Kann so weitergehen, oder?
Ja, gerne. Also jetzt bin ich habe die Führung noch mal ein bisschen ausgebaut. Gleich starte ich noch mal von 1 und gerne noch mal.
Alles klar, dann schnell hoch zur Siegerung. Dankeschön, Liram Zendelli. Wir sind natürlich später auch wieder live drauf zu Rennen Nummer 2, 15:25 Uhr, dann auch bei Sport 1. Und jetzt gibt's noch die Siegerehrung mit Patrick Simon.
Recipients. So Parc Ferme clearing then. And drivers heading up for the podium. Another race to come for the ADAC Formula 4 drivers this afternoon. 2 races today, 1 tomorrow. Super slow-mos are the top 3 to music now. So drivers all preparing then, as Gerhard Unger and Ralf Schumacher down there ready to head up to the, offer their applause to those up there on the podium. Just wish sometimes that our camera microphones would pick up a bit better some of the things that we're hearing behind closed doors, as it were, in the podium preps area. But so Lirim Zendelli making his way out now. And making his way to the top step of the podium then is Lirim Zendelli. Liam Lawson the next to be called out. So young Oliver Caldwell then, British star in the making, no question. And David there as best of the rookies. And US Racing represented up there on the podium as well. National anthem time.
International steht dort oben auf dem Podium. So dürfen wir jetzt den wohlverdienten Lohn der Arbeit überreichen. Jürgen Fabri, der Referent für Wagen im ADAC, darf die Trophäe übergeben an den Laufsieger.
Trophy's about to be presented then. So they need to be done quickly before the roar of the DTM cars who will be out for their qualifying. Jürgen Fabry making the trophy presentation then to Lirim Zendelli. Lawson receives his trophy. And a final trophy being presented to Oliver Caldwell. And best of the rookies. Well done, David Schumacher. So there we have it, podium done and dusted. The first of the ADAC Formula 4 races as US Racing received yet another trophy to add to their wilting mantelpiece, I'd like to suggest. We have another race for ADAC Formula 4 coming up this afternoon. Please make sure you join us for that. But for now, as the drivers all hold their trophies aloft, we bid you farewell from race 1 in ADAC Formula 4 for Hockenheim, and we'll see you this afternoon. Bye-bye.
Die lassen dann mal Pokale und auch die Sektflasche stehen. Ach, guck mal, das hat Julian jetzt aber ganz geschickt gemacht. Ja, aber der Einzige, der die Flasche noch in der Hand gehalten hat, aber da ist Holger Meier noch was zurückzulegen und nimmt also den Leben jetzt gleich mit aus Form. Alkoholfreier Sekt natürlich, das ist keine Frage. Wir sind im Jugendsport unterwegs. Da sind längst noch nicht alle 18 und insofern hat das natürlich auch